Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast for a brand new episode this week where Rangers done exactly as we have all expected. They absolutely fluffed the lines in the Old Firm game yesterday. To no surprise to any of the Rangers support, I don't think any of the Celtic fans as well went into this game with any fear that they wouldn't win the game, and that's a huge um, just massive error at the moment of the club where we're going into these massive games and we're not expecting the Rangers team, the 11 players, to be able to get a result, and we're not expecting the manager to be able to adapt his tactics and win the game. And aye, it's a sad state of affairs. The game went exactly how we thought it would, but aye, we'll get into it. If you do enjoy, if you could like, subscribe, and share. Aye, so. It was a disaster, as expected. I thought, obviously, going through, we'll break down the game for the start. The team selection, I mean, it couldn't get any better, to be honest, for what the manager had to pick for. I think he picked the right team. I think obviously Diomande coming in for Lawrence to play more advanced at the time was exactly my thoughts as well last week when we done the episode. But I think you're just seeing that the same mistakes. No matter who plays in these games, they can't handle Celtic and they can't handle that pressure of playing them to that degree. And obviously, first 10-15 minutes we were all right. I thought we actually were pressing them pretty high, pressing them into mistakes. Had a couple of good opportunities ourselves, which we'll go on to with Cyril Dessers. I mean, this is a screenshot for where he receives the ball. I think it was Tavernier that played him the ball. He's obviously in space. He does really well to get the ball on his foot, and it's the tamest effort I've ever seen towards the goalkeeper in my life. I mean, straight at him as well. Obviously, he ended up being offside, but when you actually look at it, it's just horrible striker play again.
So I don't know what to say again, as I say all the time here now. No, mate, as I say, as soon as he get that ball there for me, he should be looking to have a shot off there. Do you know what I mean? He does all the hard work again. He takes around the defender and everything, as you say, just the tamest effort. As you say, the team was the team, probably the best team we could have picked going into this game. And yeah, again, just can't handle it, just collapsing. I mean, the other chance as well with Matondo for a header as well. That was another
Yeah.
massive chance. And aye, we just we're just shite. It's
Aye, no,
just
we are, but those were big moments in the game, and
they were
why
massive
did it
moments.
immediately drop off for the start that we had? We started well with energy, pushing them up the pitch. Obviously, they had their own
Well,
offside goal as well at times, but they were still cutting us open. But we were able to deal with it at that point. We felt we were going to go up the pitch and we were going to
it's,
press them into mistakes, and that just stopped.
as soon as the goal they got, obviously it was offside. I felt like if they just shat their pants and knew it was coming. As I say, yet again, you give credit to obviously Celtic. Do you know what I mean? Yet again, they just turned up. They played as a team. Anytime one of us hit the ball, numbers in straight away. I mean, Kyogo sprinting, I don't know how many yards to get back to get the ball. You know what I mean? To stop us getting a chance later in the game. But I mean, our players just fucking flew the towel in straight away. Soon as after, I feel like after that goal, the offside one for Kyogo, straight away they flew the towel in. And yeah, again, just wasn't good enough and all. Embarrassing, pathetic. They're words that you could definitely use and words I would use.
Nah,
Um,
you could use
I
any
just
word under the sun to be honest to describe them.
thought you could. And as yet again, as I say, I mean, we've all seen the videos and everything that's been going out for last night and this morning and stuff with the players and what have you. But how can Tavernier I mean, he's got to go. Suter, he's got to be one of the worst signings. I think that guy is. I think he's complete and utter shite. He should. It's two big Dutch boys for me at the back, But yet again, we collapsed yesterday at top. We were just non-existent.
See, to be honest, I will obviously go through the team, but I thought Robin Proper was worse than Suter. I thought he was
No,
absolutely crap yesterday.
the two of them are boys. The two of them are boys. But listen, I think Suter is. I think he is dug. The hype he was getting when he came in for us and everything. And what I've seen over his time, I don't rate the guy at all. Say maybe a good rotational centre half, but for me, he shouldn't be starting for us whatsoever. I
No,
mean,
no,
look,
I can understand that.
look at
That's
that.
obviously a
Look at
chance in the
Tavernier.
8th minute.
You know what I mean? Look how many are ball watching the ball go across. You've got what, one, two, three, four. Shooters away, doing Bambi on ice, doing a Hollander tribute. I mean, and Butland as well. I mean, I know. critics been out for Butland as well. I mean, just absolutely shocking. Everyone, there was not a single one for me that you could tell hold their head high. Sorry, their head high. I mean that, but that there defensively, as I said to you, I feel like we could concede the same goal. The first goal was always the same at Celtic Park all the time. Just defensively, we're non-existent. We're nowhere. I
We're
mean, as I
just
said,
not alive to any situation when the ball comes into the box. We know exactly what Celtic are going to do. Celtic are going to try and take us out with one or two passes, get a ball into their wide men, the guys with pace, and they're going to get a decent ball into the box that we are always just standing, ball watching, and then obviously that was a goal that ended up getting chopped off. But we were up the pitch. I think it was just after the Matondo header. What is why are we tracking back so heavily at that point? Like one pass just completely takes out the whole
that's
rhythm
his
of the
own.
full team. And if we start to kind of break down and go through the squad. We'll start with Jack Butland because obviously he came under kind of massive criticism yesterday, and probably rightfully so. I think for that second goal, he was embarrassing. I don't know why his positioning is so bad when he can see the situation that's going to happen. Kyogo's obviously spots an area to put the ball in, and he does, but really poor keeping for Jack Butland in that sense for me.
That's shocking, mate. I can't remember the last time Butland had a really top game. Really, when I think on it.
Nah, I think since January, he definitely had that good patch for us. He's obviously been good in games for us, but I think he had that purple patch where he was brilliant every game, and he's kind of dropped off a wee bit for that now. But he was really really poor for that goal. We'll start with Yefty because Tavernier's obviously going to be a longer debate. I thought Yefty, to be fair to him, first Old Firm game, he
Done
wasn't the
all right.
worst player in that team. I think he's got a lot of really good attributes for us.
I
Obviously, I
mean,
think it was a stick on. He was going to get booked, but at least he was trying to get forward. And I thought defensively he was okay. He's dealing with two decent wingers, obviously Forrest and Nicholas Kuhn for the start, and then Alistair Johnson up and down that side as well. Where Matondo's not really giving him any help for when he was on the pitch. But I thought Yefty, out of everybody, I think is the only one that can walk away and think, right, he's actually done no bad in the game.
I was just going to talk about his yellow card there. I mean, I don't know why he's been given that apparently 4 times or something. He was saying to him, but no, listen, I thought he was all right. Yefty was all right, but the rest of them,
I
let's
know
just
you,
get
you then go into the two centre halves. The partnership was shocking.
talking.
The partnership has obviously the Robin Propper's just back for being out. Come on, said he was going to be ready for this game, which he obviously eventually was. Suter's been the mainstay in there, the guy that's been fit all season. But I think you saw the two of them. There was no command in centre half. There was nobody trying to take ownership of anything. I thought when we were getting Robin Propper, he was going to be that vocal centre half, but he just looked completely lost out there. Alongside John Souttar. I don't think the two of them, again, Celtic, it took them like one or two passes to just wipe out our full team near enough. And I'm not saying that's down to the setup of the manager, of course, but the two of them have to be doing a lot better than their duels. They have to be doing a lot better when they've got the ball at their feet. Obviously, Souttar stepped out a couple of times to try and get things rolling a wee bit, which was probably needed because I think there was a period in the game where we ended up just passing it about the back for about 3 minutes.
Well, it was a period where I
Just
thought somebody was away getting their dinner. You know what I mean? It's like a game you're playing FIFA. I honestly, there was times, as you say, where it was going to proper, then Suter, then Butland, and then Butland decided to get to Tavern. I think that led to an attack. But listen, I thought the two of them were shocking. As I say, I'm not a fan of John Suter at all. I don't understand the hype the guy got. I'm not a fan at all. Proper gives me Hollander vibes, really, if I'll be honest with you. I think
I think if he had a
Hollander
strong partner next to him, he would maybe be a bit better. Aye.
I'd be a bit better. I mean, we were thinking he was going to be the vocal one here. I think he kind of needs somebody next to him to be the vocal one. I mean, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Two of them are shite. As simple
Aye,
as
they were
that.
they were garbage on the day, and I mean, thinking about the three goals that were obviously scored. The first one, Robin Propper's on the floor, try to get up for it. I think I've got an image of that in here somewhere.
Aye,
Aye,
yeah.
there's the two of
That's
them just in Tavernier, obviously at the back post again. Maeda just field day when he
he
plays
loves it.
against them. Um, just an absolute calamity again for the defence in that one, but. Aye, but it's going to take a long time for a proper centre half partnership to grow, I think, this season because we're limited at options already. Obviously, Cassian Weirho came in for Feyenoord on deadline day. You would hope to see him involved. He looks like a guy that's got a lot of good attributes, and he looks like he's definitely a confidence kind of. Well, he's got confidence in himself to be a good player for the club. So hopefully, as time goes on, we'll see him involved in the back two. But I don't foresee Robin Prop and John Souttar having that. The two of them being the main choice for much longer, albeit with injuries and stuff. But your captain again, he goes to Celtic Park. The same thing happens again. He's just completely ripped apart by Dyson Maeda. I think I saw a lot. Obviously, James Tavernier's played a lot of Old Firm games and been on the losing side of near enough more than probably half of them, right? Under his captaincy, people are bound to lose hope and lose faith in him. And I think this season we were all kind of expecting him to leave the club. He's still there. He's still the captain. He's still starting every game, and he's clearly had a drop off this season. I think the main thing I've seen with James Tavernier this season, I've seen a massive, massive drop off in his attitude and his application to the games. He just seems like he doesn't want to be there anymore, and I don't know how Philippe Clement can't see that. Like, can you not have that relationship with the player when he can see that in the field and put him out his misery? Because that is probably the worst thing that could happen to James Tavernier is playing against Dyson Maeda every time. We know what's going to happen. I think again, Philippe Clement not to identify that as a problem area for us when we play these games is also a big, massive question mark. But there was times where he's giving the ball away and he's not even chasing back for it. And I think it's the end of James Tavernier at this club. I think we're again all resigned to that. But
It has to be.
um, he's still going to continue playing for some reason.
I just, I don't really know what to say with this, but it's the same old. Do you know what I mean? And as I say, the boy who obviously had a go at him, fair play, mate. You want a pint, we'll buy you one, definitely. I mean, he said what needed to be said there, but no, listen, I just, I'd get rid of him now, mate. Honestly, I'd release him personally for me. I just put him out his misery, as you say. I don't know which more to say. Every time we talk about these games, he's always getting ripped, man, and it's the same old with him. It's the same old. He just is. I just don't know, mate. He's
Just need this club won't really get change until Tavernier's not the captain anymore. I think you see the same kind of jobless, leaderless performance when you go to Celtic Park every time, and it's every time James Tavernier's a captain. And I'm not saying he can do 11 players' jobs we have in the captain's armband, but till we see proper
but
change,
you
I
look
think it's going
for
to be getting rid of somebody like that.
no, absolutely. But even with your captain, I mean, you look at you want somebody to give you a bit of fucking right. He's going to war. He's going to die for this shirt. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
When we're all going to hang me, you don't look at that guy and think that. You know what I mean?
nah.
Soft.
Nah. And then the Dujon Sterling Connor Barron partnership again, the midfield was just completely non-existent, and we've obviously had a lot of praise for Connor Barron. I thought in times in the game he was decent, but definitely a lot of improvement to do for him in these big games to be up to that standard to compete with Celtic's midfield. Dujon Sterling obviously again he was competing, but largely not a great performance. And Mohamed Diomande. I think that has to be the end of that experiment for me, where he's pushed further forward because he just kind of is never in the game. There was obviously players on him every time he lost the ball. He was careless sometimes in possession. You're expecting more for a guy that's supposed to be creating chances, and I don't feel that Diomande is going to be. It's not going to be his best position up there behind Dessers.
No, it's not. I mean, the best thing he done was hit Johnson with a clothesline. I rate that. But I feel so sorry for Barron, really. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, he's been fantastic up to what's the game thing,
But
but just
again,
the
he's been made to do a different role that I don't
different.
think he would have signed up for.
Exactly, and then I just feel like the press, like not the building, the momentum I think the fans are building upon him as well. Is just like, oh, he's this guy that's going to. I just feel a bit angry for him, but as I say, midfield yet again, as I say, always a key area in these games, and we are just nowhere near, mate. Just nowhere near again.
Nah, the midfield was just non-existent. You had Rio Hatate, Paulo Bernardo kind of ran the game for Celtic midfield, and nobody got near Cal McGregor again in an
It
Old Firm
was
game. That should be the first thing you say to any Rangers team as the managers. You just get on Cal McGregor and don't let him play because that's how Celtic end up ticking. And
exactly.
no manager's been able to identify that that's the issue at hand a lot of the time. But Aye, midfield completely wiped out and just totally dominated by Celtics. Left hand side, Rabbi Matondo threw the towel in. He couldn't be arsed. He shat himself like Borna Barisic would. Um, Again, a brilliant chance in the opening minutes of the game, and you can't rely on these guys to put them away. It's all good and well scoring against Ross County and getting assists against Ross County and scoring 6 goals, but seeing you can't take your chances in big games again. That was what Philippe Clement said before the game even started. We have to be. We had chances in all the games last season, which we did. We never took any of them enough. And again, Rabbi Matondo didn't take those, and you obviously had Ross McCausland coming on again, wasting chance after chance at the end of the game. Really, really saying to me what I said a couple of weeks ago. That's a guy that has to go out and loan and mature because that being your option to bring on as a wide man in an old firm game, you're chasing the game is just nothing short of laughable for me. Um, aye, the whole that whole area of the pitch was just shocking.
I mean, I think the whole attacks shocking.
Aye,
I
and then
know
if you like Václav Černý, I thought he was like
that totally
probably pound
was.
for pound the worst player on the pitch for me. I thought he was
He
a garbage.
he is just. I mean, he's shite, mate. I just think the whole line, the whole top is just diabolical. And I couldn't honestly. We'll, as you say, we'll be lucky to finish top three. But if that's our forward three, do you know what I mean? We'll
It's
be
just
lucky.
by everything else surrounding the club as well, when the pressure gets to everybody in the pitch that are playing the games, it's going to be a disaster
He's a,
season. It started off as a
and,
disaster, and the first Old Firm game, you're already at where we are now.
and I think he's a one-trick pony. That Tierney. He just looks to
He's
do the
only got a
same.
left foot.
He only just looks to do the same thing over and over again. If it doesn't pan out, he doesn't know what to do. So I mean, that's one where you think to yourself, "Thank Christ, that's only a loan." Because if we'd paid a couple of million for him, Jesus Christ.
Nah,
But nah,
I thought he was really, really poor. He just didn't really do anything. Every time he got the ball, he gave it away. Every time he tried to go round the man, he didn't believe in himself to use his own attributes to be able to get by them. And then every time he tried to create a chance, it was just with his left foot. And Celtic defenders knew exactly what he was going to do. And that's my fear with Czerny. He obviously came in, he looked okay, scored that goal, he got that assist away at Kiev. But out with that, he's not been kind of the player I thought he was going to be so far. There's still obviously a long time to go for him. He's just
well,
kind of new in the club, but I didn't see anything for him in a big game that thought he's going to be a guy that can win us this game, for example. And then you look at Cyril Dessers, as we already saw, the chance that he had in the first half, the first opening minutes of the game. It was a golden opportunity, and then you flash forward to the second half chance when he gets right at the start of the half. Again, the same thing, such a tame effort. He's got time to think about what he's going to do, and he just passes it into Kasper Schmeichel's hands. That is the guy that's not going to win you games against Celtic, I'm afraid. He might win you games against Ross County and St Johnstone. He's been a good player for us so far this season, but when it comes to the big games, and like everything with Philippe Clement's reign so far as a manager, nobody remembers the games that we went unbeaten in and went on a long winning streak. They remember the games against Celtic where he can't win them, and it's the same with Cyril Dessers. If he can't score in these games, it doesn't matter.
but as I say, you look at the chances he had yesterday, and you think of previous Rangers forwards, they would have absolutely hit them up and finished them. And as I say, this team is a group of losers, really, innit? It's just a group of losers. And I mean, Clement, as you say, after the game as well, obviously going on about the Ross County result and all that, that made me just lose just a bit of respect,
I
really, for
think I think I've
Clement.
got. So obviously that was the Butland goal, which we obviously spoke about with I Clement. And his post-match interview, don't forget about last week. It was the best result in around 4 years for the club, which it wasn't because we beat Hamilton
He's,
8-0 in the COVID season. Um,
I,
so I don't know what he's trying to get
I,
at there. I don't get it.
I just, yeah, I think he's going to, as I say, I personally believe he's starting to lose the dressing room a wee bit. And now, as I say, fans are starting to lose it a bit as well. And I don't know. I mean, we can't keep going on this vicious circle. As I say, this hamster wheel. Bring a manager in, sack him, and then another one, rinse, repeat. But feels like it's going to be the way it's going to go.
Aye,
I just,
there's obviously ways you can look at it, and if you go back to the team lineup, the way that this team was set up yesterday was nothing short of an absolute embarrassment. I don't understand what Philippe Clement is doing with these players before a big game, before any game really. that says, all right, I can buy into watching that style of football. All that happened yesterday is we played it around the back to try and relieve a bit of pressure off us and punt it up the pitch to get Cyril Dessers to get a knock on for somebody, which Cyril Dessers does not do ever. I don't think I've ever seen him win a header in my life for that. But we keep on persisting with the same thing. It was the same thing past Old Firms the
And
last
it was,
season with Philippe Clement.
as I say, every time we go, you go forward. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, again, you're on the counter attack straight away, and it's just, I don't know. For me, I've just personally, I've lost thing and Clement a bit. I don't hang with any of these players whatsoever. You know, what I mean, not one of them to me are standouts. As I say, it's a group of losers. Constantly, every time we come up into these games, and you try and hang with yourself that maybe get a chance.
The
You've not
players
got a
don't
chance.
believe it though. That's the main thing. They're the ones that are
He's
playing
not
the
never
game.
believed it. And I know I keep hanging, but I'll bring it up again, as I say. And also that video with the boy and he hangs at Tavernier. But see, when you just look at some of them as well, they're not even sticking up for their teammate or their captain. Do you know what I mean? To show a bit of togetherness. Do you know what I mean? They're all just swandering by. I mean, because they don't care.
No,
Not a
nobody
single
wants
one of
to
them.
take ownership for
Oh,
anything between the squad. I think is what I see for
but
videos like
that's
that, and I think hounding the players. Obviously, he's putting over a message that I think, aye, everybody agrees with. The players have to hear that, but it's probably done in the wrong way. I think protests need to happen anyway. They need to be more
but
than
what
just
way?
going up to folk and doing that.
No,
For
but
me,
what can but what way can you do it? Any, you know what I mean? They don't give a fuck, man. Not a single person at this club cares. You know what I mean?
it is going to turn sour.
How embarrassing it must have been to be like some of the chief execs and all that yesterday when they're all celebrating or what have you right in front of them. And that just shows you, as I say, if you top to bottom,
Aye,
it's just
that's the thing. They've allowed this to happen, and I think that's for me where a lot of the blame should be at the board because if they do go and sack Philippe Clement, for example, the same thing's going to happen with the next manager because they're working under the same regime with the same players, with the same ideology. Nothing's really going to properly change until there's change at the top of the club for me. And I think that's where the blame and all of the
well,
fire should go in the coming weeks and months to get these guys out the club and really vouch for change. There's obviously the AGM coming up at the end of the year, and no doubt there'll be folk asking why their pies are cold when they go to Ibrox and all that. But that is when real hard hitting questions have to be asked by
they'll
everybody in the
dodge them.
attendance.
They'll dodge them, but and as I say, it will go to Clement, and Clement
That's
will be
why I
the
feel
one to
sorry for him
make it.
because he
I feel terribly bad for Philip Clement, the same way I felt terribly bad for Giovanni. He was the one that get threw under the bus as well. It feels like the exact same with Clement getting thrown right under the bus as well. So
but
they
then
can
he
all be
also
saying,
doesn't help it with the way he sets the
no,
team
he
up for a
doesn't
game
with
like this as
comments.
well. So
I, as I say, he doesn't help himself at all with that as well. But definitely coming up with the games, hopefully going back to Ibrox, there has to be protest, 100%. Yeah, you have to make our voices heard. And I
aye.
mean, no God, they'll be charging ridiculous prices for these European games coming up. And you know what I mean? If MD buys them,
Well, that's one of
Jesus
the biggest
Christ.
surprises I think they'll get because when that email comes out to get the Europa League tickets and stuff, I think that's the biggest way to vote for change is by not buying them. Obviously, if you're a fan of the club and a fan of the team and want to see the team do well, it's hard not to buy them. Myself, season ticket holder, I want to go see these big European games with Rangers, but it just doesn't feel like we're getting the value for our money anymore. And I think that's the way you protest against the board. You hurt their pockets first. I mean, they had to close a stand at Hampden a couple of weeks ago and only get 20,000 tickets sold. You seen their attendance for the Dynamo Kiev game? Virtually nobody in attendance while they were trying to punt it, obviously, all day on Twitter. They do see these things, and that's what will hurt their pockets more than us sticking up a banner, which is unfortunate. It has to start though. It's obviously started and outside the Ibrox and stuff yesterday, but I think for me it's time to vote for change now. It has to change, and I think one of the main things to do is European tickets hurt their pockets because as soon as they've got your money, they know
I
that's
they
everyone's
know straight
rosy.
away, but it's the same, mate. It's just, yeah, another manager you feel sorry for, but at the same time,
Nah,
I,
he's not making it easy to vote for him
not
because see
making
if
you
you were
think.
watching a team there that just lost by a couple of like hard chances or something like that, they really like went all
They
in
fought for the
and
badge.
aye,
They fought,
and you could
then
see
fair
that
play.
the manager's
But you,
ideas were stemming through the team, and But I don't see anything of that. I see a team with no identity. I see a team that don't know what they're doing in these games. And for me, that obviously comes from the manager. We've gave the
Even
manager a long time to obviously build his squad and get the players in. And we obviously know he's been sold short a large majority by the board this summer in terms of the rebuild. It's been a downsize. We've got players in, but it's not to the quality that in the standard that you need to compete with Celtic, for example. So he makes it hard to back him. I obviously feel sorry for him. He shouldn't be the fall guy that's having to answer to fans outside the stadium and stuff for this failing. But aye, you don't really see
even
anything from him.
but even some of the changes as well. I mean, in fact, I know I feel like I go on about the nail all the time, but even just bring it on something different, just
Aye,
change it up a bit.
the
For me,
decisions are poor. Aye, they are.
yeah, they're really poor. And as I say, we ain't a project club. Success, you don't get time here, as we say all the time. You don't get time here. As I say, I feel bad for the guy. Yet again, another manager will get thrown under the bus, and we'll see obviously what happens. But as I say, fans are going to make their voices heard. I hope we do it in the correct, proper way. As you say, hurting their pockets is definitely one of them. But I I just I
Aye,
every time now, man. And as I say, we're not even. It's not like, oh well, at 2 points sing off them. We're fourth. We're fourth in the league.
we're
Aberdeen are
already
fourth.
5 points behind Aberdeen, for example. When you put it that
You
way,
know what I
like
mean?
again, the start to the season for last season was poor. The start to the season to this season has been just disastrous again. The fan pressure is built up this season more. I see it. I see it hard for it to change. To be honest with you, with the way the fans have the idea in their head that they don't see this as Rangers anymore, and the way that the players are playing, they don't play for the badge. They play for themselves and to get a pay back at the end of the month. That's as simple as that. Um,
And I
and
go back to
it's
what
a harsh
you,
reality.
sorry, mate, but I go back to what you said a couple of podcasts ago, really, or what have you. We are really just Dortmund now, aren't we? Just sort of live
I'd
off the
honestly say
European.
Man United. To be honest,
I
we were
will Man
watching that game
United,
yesterday
Dortmund.
as well.
I will.
Man
Listen,
United with less money is what we are. We hate the owners. We protest against the owners. The owners stay and make the wrong decisions. They buy players. They're never able to adapt to the demands of a massive club that used to be steeped in winning silverware every season. And they have a loyal fan
at
base that
least
has always stuck by them and always sat there and basically paid the price for it. That is it.
we're just one of the clubs now, aren't we, really? I mean, I just don't know. I don't have the words for it anymore. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I come on here all the time now in the podcast and just repeat myself. It's hard now, man. It's brutal to watch.
Yeah.
And as I say, that's not even just this game. That's most games now. It's brutal to watch, and you obviously see the draw and what we got in Europe, and you're thinking to yourself, we're lucky to get in, really when I think
Aye.
on it. But as I say, yet again, I know people. I've seen it as well. Don't know about yourself. I've seen obviously people going, oh, maybe Gerrard and all this kind of stuff. We don't go backwards. We try and go forwards here. Do you know what I mean? But I do look at that, and I do, that was a time where I do feel like we were all together, and now I feel like I feel Clement had it a wee bit with the fans and the players together a bit, and now I feel like it's just going to drift apart
No,
again.
he definitely did. That's the thing that I'm saying. Obviously, before we at the start of the episode, sorry. Like he went on that long winning run when he came in. He revitalised the club. He get players playing. He was obviously top in the Europa League group, winning a cup against Aberdeen. Then it came to the Old Firm game, and that's all MD will ever remember is we failed and we failed again and we failed again after that. We failed to win the cup final. That is what people will remember, and that is why we are now on this slippery slope because we obviously did have good points under Fleet Command last season, but when things started to happen and he started kind of making weird statements like after the Dundee game and saying that was an improvement in the Ross County game, even though we drew 0-0 and stuff like that, there has been massive glaring question marks over his leadership and his attempts to drive this club forward. And obviously, it's been a long summer, and I can't imagine the amount of pressure he's been under to be able to deliver what the fans need to see. And obviously, it wasn't going to happen in one window, but I think you're getting to an Old Firm game again, and the same things happening for when Gio was there. 4-0, we get absolutely hammered that day, and it could be in the same year for for all your kind of doing like the same game basically just happened yesterday. So. Aye, it's going to be a long couple of weeks until the next game. I think, if you're looking at one of those people that's looking to get a manager change, I think one of the main things to get if the manager is going to lose his job, it has to be somebody with an identity. It has to be somebody that plays a specific way of football. You look at a Kevin Muscat, for example, that we were obviously linked to around the same time as Clement. He's got that way of playing. He's a no nonsense type of manager, and things maybe would have been different if we went down that route.
You, I don't think it would have been the exact same, mate. It'd have been the exact same. It won't, nothing will change at this football club until the boys at the top are gone. But as we all know, they're all Rangers fans anyway. They all support Rangers. So apparently we're in good hands here.
Nah, apparently
Absolutely.
that's the Rangers they like watching. But no, I totally agree. Obviously, aye, just rambling on about it. Now, to be honest with you, it's just kind of the frustrations are obviously at a high. It was more disappointment yesterday, to be honest. But I think the day after, it's just more like, how has the club been able to get in this state? How have the guys at the top of the club saw this as being okay and think the fans are going to be like all right with this happening every season? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
I
getting
mean,
bad and it's going to only get worse. I think it
absolutely.
has
And
to.
even you think about even the failure with the whole situation with tickets for these games for away fans and stuff, and just not doing their job there, not doing the proper stuff. I just don't know what to say anymore, really. You're
No,
left hurtling inside all the time, you know what I mean? And
no,
the
no,
only way we
no.
can make our voices heard, as you say, by hurting our pockets, really. I feel that's where it's going to take an effect, really. But thank God
Nah.
there is a break now, and we can all just enjoy our life for a bit before like these lot come back and make us absolutely miserable again.
No. As said, it was just an absolute horror show once again. For this Rangers team, for the management, it's just becoming the same story. It's like usually when you would get beaten in an Old Firm game, you would be just depressed for weeks until the next game, but it's now just became the norm. Celtic expect to beat us, and we never expect to beat Celtic. So,
We always
aye,
say they're not catching them whatsoever. The money they're spending on players,
we're
you know what I
subbing
mean?
on
And
Tom Lawson. They're subbing on their record signing for 11 million or
exactly.
whatever they paid for him. Like, that's the contrast to the two clubs at the moment, which is sad because we shouldn't be in this position whatsoever. We should be competing with Celtic, and previous failings for the board have got us in this position. And as I say, folk watching the episode, direct all your blame towards the board in the coming weeks. I feel that that's the only way, as you say, you're going to get change. There's obviously other glaring errors and mishaps with the squad and the way they're coached and stuff like that, but aye, I think once you start ridding the guys from up top, then hopefully things will start to get better. But it just seems we're on a slippery slope, and who knows when this ends? You know, we can sit on here and make our voices known about the facts. It's about taking action now, but against these things, and hopefully that will come. Obviously, it's a couple of weeks until the next game, Dundee United away, which is going to be absolute hell because we never do well up at Tannadice, but. Aye, at least a couple of weeks to put this behind us and not think about Rangers as much and aye, enjoy ourselves. So until then, we'll be back with another episode. See you later.